to have you join us on another exciting episode of Art House. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Let's check out our lineup for today. We see the backstory of this female artist exhibition that explores life beyond all the challenges people encounter. Then we enter a space full of all sorts of creative things pioneered by another female art executive. So we have some girl power on this edition of the program, but first let's share our wordsmith for this week and we'll be right back.
Our wordsmith for this week is by Gaius Dan, and the artist is Chileua Chimiela. It's titled Black Rose. We're the ones on whose faces the pain we've been through is absent. The ones with memories of places we were lucky enough to survive. We're the ones whose arms and feet, torn by many thorns, weighed on, through and through. The ones whose every heartbeat seek a form of peace we don't know if we'll find. We're the ones, feeble roses, with ash-black petals, whose beauty has been hidden, because black is taught as evil, and black is the same as death. We're the ones who are enough. We are whole. We are complete. Who, maligned, rise. Who, neglected, compete. Who, rejected, become sought after. Who are black. Who are special.
A Room with All Our Things is a group exhibition at the Art Pantheon Gallery in Lagos.
It's a room, all right, in the Art Pantheon Gallery, Lagos, filled with interesting works of art done by about 5 artists. Abisola Gbadamosi, Tolulokwe Daramola, Toju Clark, Paul Aihawu, and Samuel Vitu.
Today's exhibition is a group show, 5 young, amazing budding artists who are young but very interesting, and they're artists to watch out for. We looked at creativity, we looked at aesthetics, we looked at a few things that are promising of a young emerging artist, and we found these artists excelling in all those areas, and we think there is something to watch out for in them. So that's why we've put them together, and we have tagged this exhibition A Room with All Our Things.
The budding artists show images the audience can connect with in a room filled with things which reflect social, cultural, political issues that each creative is passionate about.
Yeah, the idea actually came from my own personal experience and my own personal thought way of thinking, how I reason things around me. And then I mean, big subject that attracts me, most importantly, the subject I talked about, the impact of colonialism on African cultures. The vernacular series actually is inspired from this term that in primary school days, in the class we say vernacular speaking is prohibited. And the vernacular we are talking about there is the indigenous language of the child, which is either Yoruba, Igbo, or Hausa. So it's more like the colonial mindset, whereby your own language becomes prohibited in a particular space. So I make this work to highlight those facts that language has to be original, and then it's more like when you lose your language, you lose your identity.
talking about the black race. The black race, in pursuit of happiness, in pursuit of love. Rose signifies love in a general term. So, while connecting with people within your country and outside your country, you're basically searching for love. You want others to love you. You're looking for, that love from the next person, just so that you can have a good relationship, and peace reigns at the end of the day. So the general idea here is to preach love.
I'm trying to make sure people understand that even though there might be a lot of darkness, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. So basically, when I was much younger, I had an experience that defined me as a person. I lost my parents, and I went through so much in between, but God kept me through. And I wanted people to understand from different aspects of my art that even if you were abused, or even if you were misunderstood, or although you don't feel like the world has your back, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. It sounds very cliche, but I've just turned into an artist that is ready to speak about my truth and my relationship with God, at the same time the relationship I have with myself.
Each of them explain what they've brought to delight the Lagos crowd.
This is titled Not Holier Than Thou. So it's a piece I used in trying to send a message, to everyone that being spiritual is quite important. And I think spirituality is better than being religious. So the message here is for us to search our inner selves and connect with our God on a personal level, and not not put over our personal connection with God what we hear around us. So it is better to make our ways right with God and have a personal relationship with our Creator.
This particular one is called Daydreaming, where we talk about the impact of the basic importance of companionship and aspiration, especially for among the young ones. And there is this very one here that is called Tulips and Roses, which basically emphasizes the importance of self-love and self-evaluation, with just to be more conscious of yourself. And there's this saying that goes that the way you love yourself is the way people will going to love you. It's the way people is going to learn to love you. So that is what the piece is all talks about.
There are two of my series here called Perspective 1 and Perspective 2. That one is inspired by people's objectives, how people see things, how people see situations basically. I realized that a lot of us see things differently. The way I see a particular situation is different from the angle you as a person is also seeing it from. So that's what inspired. And then also attitudes, mental health, and identity.
expectations are very high, really high. One, let's find an end to COVID so that we all can move out freely, we can cohabit, we can have fun, enjoy ourselves. But in terms of art, we look forward to a more beautiful and promising year where art will thrive and grow, where we'll have purchasing power for our collectors and they'll be able to acquire more. So we're looking at a very promising year ahead of us.
Besides the big names which have been showed in this gallery, this exhibition further reveals that the art pantheon is ready to support the growing creative who have a good head on their shoulders by giving them a platform to display their creativity.
And these are the works of art you sent in this week. Let's begin with this one called The Drummer is Worth Joy. It's done by Abraham Adewale with oil and acrylic on canvas. Then another person who is drumming his way into the hearts of the audience is Ajayi Clement with this one called Young Shall Grow, rendered with mixed media on paper. When you have drummers, you definitely will be seeing some dancers moving to the beat, and that's what Timothy Popola has captured with his paper collage work called In the Dance. Then Salami Oladimeji has Man and Game of Destiny. It's done with oil and acrylic on canvas. While Kende Joseph, using an acrylic on canvas method, is just capturing your neighborhood market. Then Innocent Child is Ibrahim Babatunde's wood on canvas work. While Olaiton Theo Iwalokun believes that knowledge is power, he has rendered it in this acrylic on canvas work. Then this one called Innocent Kid is done with ballpoint pen on paper. While Lekon Oladimeji has this live figure painting done with oil on canvas. Then Adekunle Mayowa says everything feels like a joke. He says it's inspired by the popular act, The Joker. He's rendered it with this acrylic on canvas work. Then Well Endowed, the first in the series, is done by Tony Etoni with acrylic on canvas. Then we wrap up a Works of Art segment this week with this one done by Bello Toby. He calls it My Glide. It's done with charcoal and oil color on paper. And that concludes the Works of Art you sent in this week. We appreciate you for sending them in and put your best foot forward as always. Let's take a moment now. When Art House returns, we appreciate the backstory of this exhibition by female artist and activist Chinze Ojobo.
My goal is to liberate women folk from the shackles of deprivation and taboos.
The national president of the Female Arts Association of Nigeria has had over 70 exhibitions both home and abroad, and we've had the privilege to cover some of them. Now, to appreciate all that goes into it, we visited Chinze Ojobo's studio before her Beyond the Barriers exhibition in Lagos.
This is Chinze Ojobo's workspace. As expected, her specialty, acrylic on canvas, jute and mixed media images are all in view. This particular collection forms part of the Beyond the Barriers exhibition, which she was preparing for at the time of this visit to her studio in Lagos.
So this exhibition is all about, encouraging the people to go forward, to take steps, to still, think of actualizing their dreams, because it's like a situation of people no more believing, they don't know what will happen again. It's like now everybody's thinking the COVID is over, then there's a new spike or a new variant coming up, the Omicron, it's disheartening. You don't even know what is going on anymore. But in all, we need to help ourselves by, talking to ourselves, encouraging ourselves, to take steps. We don't get into depression. We don't get into situations that are, disheartening and all that. We should, trust that there will be light at the end of the tunnel.
It's reflected in the title From I Am Possible to Life's Choices and The Beat Goes On to many others, all revealing the silver lining in life despite the many challenges the world has faced recently due to the pandemic.
I Am Possible, it's an acrylic on carved wood. It's about a woman, an old woman talking to, more like an advice from a mother, like telling you to believe in yourself, believe that, you can do it. It says, if you can believe it in your heart that you can do it. So it's more or less like telling you that nothing is impossible unless you have to put it to work. You have to believe enough to push and do it, and then you see answers. So that's what it talks about. And there's another one that says, don't watch the clock, do what the clock is doing. What is the clock doing? The clock keeps moving. The clock never stops, it keeps moving, unless the battery is dead. But once the battery is on, the clock keeps moving. And so we need to keep moving. We don't need to sit and wallow. Like, the COVID came with all the negative things, but somehow, with the technology, we are united. The technology brought everybody together. People use the internet, we go online, we see ourselves. If I want to participate in exhibitions, like right now, I was able to, during this period, participate in 3 auctions by the Chalkwell auction in the UK. I was here in Nigeria and I participated in that auction. And there were so many other online exhibitions I participated in and all that. So there was, the technology somehow united the people, who brought us together. So that's what I'm saying. So rather than sit and wait, let us join the train, work with other people, let us go forward, let us, don't, wallow and, go forward.
The goal is to cheer everyone up. Her detailed paintings, full of texture, color, and energy, with symbols that depict not only where her passion lies, but shows the amount of work that has gone into each piece, feels like soul food.
I have another one, that's the main artwork that I called Beyond the Barriers. It was like a barrier, all those negative stories, like weighing people down. But, in the picture, I made people rise above it. They rose above that situation. So it's more or less like rising above your situation. Yes, there's a situation, and it's as if everybody's putting our hands together, all hands on deck, trying to sort this COVID-19 issue. Yes, it will be sorted out by the grace of God. But we also need to have the right mindset. And that's why I have another artwork I called good thoughts. You have to have positive thoughts that will make you believe, that will make you, stay together, that will make you, be able to be strong enough to go on with it.
The national president of the Female Artists Association of Nigeria and founder of Culture Code, Art Hub Abuja, uses her images to amplify issues that concern her gender, calling a better deal for them.
I've noticed a lot of, activities going on in the art world, which wasn't there before the DG came. So I believe that the art scene in Nigeria is growing. The government is becoming more aware of, us. And because there was a time, it was as if the government didn't know there was that visual art existed. It was as if nothing, but with the new NGA now, I'm noticing that visual art is becoming more prominent in the system, in the radar. We can actually see them in the radar. So I believe that it will grow and will grow more and more, and the visual artists will, be able to be recognized in this nation, and will go places.
She holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in Fine and Applied Arts from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, studied interior design in the United States, amongst other courses in public relations, curating, and art marketing.
I love to show those moments before the exhibition or command performance, as if we're talking about drama. It makes one realize the amount of work and preparation that goes into any show. Well done. For what to look forward to next time, take a look.
Coming up on Art House. Fabricating Painting is a solo exhibition by Dr. Peacemaker Efeogene. Then we enjoy an exhibition by some young contemporaries at the National Museum in Lagos. Do remember that your art house experience doesn't have to end when the show is not on television. Go to our YouTube page, view, like, and share the program.
Your art house experience doesn't have to end when the show is not on television. Interact with us on our various social media platforms. See any edition of Art House on our website or YouTube page. Join our very interactive Facebook page by joining the group on Art House on Channels. We're everywhere.
That's the program today. Let's do it again next time. But till then, you know where to find me on any of our social media platforms where the conversation continues. I'm Melinda Akinlami, encouraging you to keep staying safe and be creative.